In this video, we're going to look at how to use double angle formulae for integration. This is going to unlock a pretty important door, which is how to integrate sine squared x and cos squared x. Check this out. All right, let's review what our double angle formulae are for sine and cos, and then think about how we might use these. So sine 2x is 2 sine x cos x. Might this be useful for integration? Well, maybe. I guess if we are simply to integrate 2 sine x cos x, you could convert it to sine 2x, and that's a bit easier to integrate. The magic really comes from the cos double angles. So remember that three forms are cos squared x minus sine squared x, 2 cos squared x minus 1, and 1 minus 2 sine squared x. The first one is not particularly useful for integrating. The second two are, massively. Here's why. Let's just explore this one. Cos 2x is the same as 2 cos squared x minus 1. Rearranged, by adding 1 to both sides, I get 1 plus cos 2x equals 2 cos squared x, and then dividing through by 2, I get a half plus a half cos 2x equals cos squared x. Now the reason why this is so magic is that I've expressed a squared trig function that I do not know how to integrate in terms of a half plus a non-squared standard trig function, all of which I can integrate. So rearranging the cos double angle formula allows me to integrate cos squared x because it means I can express it in terms of stuff I can integrate. Similarly, if I take this other form, that cos 2x is the same as 1 minus 2 sine squared x, this rearranges as 2 sine squared x is the same as 1 minus cos 2x, and that means that sine squared x is the same as a half minus a half cos 2x. And once again, what we've got is a squared trig function that I couldn't integrate expressed in terms of stuff that I can. So sometimes people call this the half angle formulae because it's a way of expressing one angle which is half the size of the other. I don't tend to think about it like that. I think about it just as a rearrangement of my double angle formulas, specifically for cos. So let's look at how we use these for integration. So integrating sine squared x, I just rewrite sine squared x in the form that we just developed here, a half minus half cos 2x. So that is a half minus half cos 2x. Remember, that's not the integration bit, that's just using an identity. Now I can integrate. The integral of 1/2 is 1/2 x. The integral of cos 2x, well, integral of cos is sine, it's still going to be negative. And then, okay, it's definitely going to be sine 2x. On differentiating this, I would multiply by 2, so I'll just divide by 2 to compensate, and we get 1/4 sine 2x. Now I can see that if I differentiated this, I'd get cos 2x, but then I'd multiply by 2, and 1/4 times 2 is a half. And plus c. And the integral of cos squared x, or rather cos squared x rather than sine squared x, I'll use the same idea. So I'll take this double angle formula rearranged. So I rewrite cos squared x as a half plus half cos 2x. Half plus half cos 2x. And this integrates in just the same way. It's just a half x plus 1/4 sine 2x plus c. So now that we can integrate sine squared x plus cos squared x, we can integrate all of the squared trig functions. Sec squared x, that's just a standard integral. That one, we just integrate that to tan x. Cosec squared x, yep, that integrates to minus cot x, standard integral. Tan squared x, yep, using Pythagorean identities explored in the previous video. Cot squared x, yep, Pythagorean identity explored in the previous video. Sine squared x, yep, figured out here using double angles. Cos squared x, also using double angles. So that's pretty nice, right? We can now integrate all of the trig functions squared. So let's have a look at this example here. Can we find the value of the integral of sine x plus 1 squared between 0 and pi? So direct a definite integral, and let's start by just expanding this. So if I expand it, I get sine squared x, which I know how to integrate now, plus 2 sine x, that's no problem, plus 1, which is certainly no problem, all between 0 and pi. So to integrate sine squared x, I have to express it in terms of the cos double angle. So that, remember, was a half minus a half cos 2x. And these are still there. Okay, now we can integrate. So let's just combine this. A half plus 1 is 3 over 2. So that integrates to 3 over 2x. And then our minus a half cos 2x here integrates to minus 1/4 sine 2x. And then 2 sine x integrates to minus 2 cos x. And this is what I'm subbing in pi and 0 into. So let's continue it up here. If I sub in pi, what do I get? Well, I get 3 over 2 pi minus 1/4 sine 2 pi minus 2 cos pi. And then I'm now subbing in 0, so I get 3 over 2, lots of 0 is 0, minus 1/4 sine 0 minus 2 cos 0. It's very important that you don't get into the very bad habit of just assuming that when you've got 0, it's 0. By which I mean, when your second limit is 0, oh, this bracket will all just be 0. That was often the case in very simple integrals, but it's certainly not the case anymore, and it's not the case now. So do not ignore the second bracket. So what have we got? I've got 3 over 2 pi. Now, sine of 2 pi is 0, so that's 0, and cos of pi, well, cos of pi, you can obviously check on your calculator, or you can draw yourself a graph. I definitely like drawing the graphs. Pi is here, so cos of pi is minus 1, so minus 2 times minus 1 is 2. And what's going on inside this bracket? Well, let's not jump the gun, let's keep things bracketed up. So it's 0, sine of 0 is 0, and then I've got minus, well, cos of 0 is 1, so that's minus 2. So what we have here is 3 over 2 pi plus 2 plus another 2 is plus 4, and there's my exact answer. Now, it's good practice to check stuff like this on the calculator. If you're in an exam and you're asked to work this out and you've got your answer, it's pretty easy to check. Let me show you how to do that. Okay, so on my Class Wiz calculator here, I can just use the integration button that's sitting here. So I just key it in as I see it. So bracket sine x, okay, they forced me to use brackets here, so I better close that bracket. Sine x plus 1 squared between limits of 0 and pi. And now I just noticed that my calculator is currently in degrees mode, so all calculus with trig has to be in radians, so shift, set up, angle units, and make that radians. And now see what I get. So the calculator has a think about it and tells me the answer is 8.71. Okay, well, I got 3 over 2 pi plus 4. Are they the same? Well, just keep that in the back of your mind. 8.71. Well, let's see what we get when we have 3 over 2 pi plus 4. Is it 8.71? Yes, it is. Okay, so we were right. Hooray. So it's a really good thing to do is just check your answer using a calculator. I'm going to do that more and more in this chapter just to get into the habit, and you should get into the habit as well. Whenever you do a definite integral, just give it a quick check to see if you're right. Okay, hope that's been useful learning about how to use double angle formulae for integration. We've got plenty more integrations to come, so I'll see you in the next video.